School isn't a single player game. It's much more like a multiplayer game designed where we learn from people who are ahead of us and also teach people who are a bit behind us. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly on how I learned from some of the biggest players in School while also sharing my lesson with over 27,000 members of the community. So here are some of the people that I'm more or less talking on a weekly basis. This is Andrew Kirby. He's the owner of Synthesizer. Aidan Labrache, who is the current host, and he runs Synthesizer Scaling. Goose is currently traveling the world, building communities all over. I actually hosted him at my place, and I won this like Skool cat with the joint on there. So if you beat him in Smash, then you get to have this super cool cat who's breaking some of the rules. And he was staying here at my place for some time. And then we have Ryan Duncan, who is just like the most engaged person on School. I was able to build relationships with all of these people, learn from them. I learned so much from each of them individually. It's actually incredible because having to go through my own experiences would have taken me like years. And by just being in proximity with them, I was able to cut that in just a couple of months. And then being able to share all of that in Synthesizer and really just keep this cycle of learning going. But before I joined School, I tried to like copy players like Ali Abdal or Gary Vee and Alex Hermosi. And that was very difficult because there were so many steps ahead of me and it was just extremely overwhelming. So if you ever were finding yourself like creating weekly YouTube videos while also trying to be active on X and Instagram and also posting on LinkedIn and building out a whole funnel and creating this value ladder and then changing your avatar and then having to redo everything. Yeah, I've been there. It's extremely overwhelming and I would not recommend it. So instead of focusing on players who are 100 steps ahead of me, I started to look more for the ones who are just 10 or 3 steps ahead. And these are the perfect people to learn from because they just did the thing that I want to learn. So when you go on School and you look at your own profile, then you see at what level you are. And fortunately, like every School community shows that where you currently are. And then there's also a leaderboard which shows you other people. So this is the Schooler leaderboard, and you see that in my total rank, I'm like within the 200 people. The people at the top are very easy to identify. And these are good people to network with. But the level is not everything because just someone has a high level doesn't necessarily mean they know more than us. That just means they spend a lot more time on it, which sometimes means they know more, but not always. And that is why School also has this status. So the status has something like a star. So people who have this star means that they are in the School discovery, meaning in the first 30 communities of that category, and they are just the community builders with the most engagement. The fire means that you've been active for 30 days in a row. So people with a flame, you know that they're pretty dedicated. And if you shoot them a message, they will see it, like guaranteed. And then we have these ranks. So someone who has a rocket is making at least 10,000 in monthly recurring revenue, while someone who has this ninja, he doesn't fuck around because he's like more than 300K in monthly recurring revenue. And I just love this because it really shows you where people are. Should I learn from this person because they're ahead? Should I try to collaborate with them because we're at the same level? Or should I maybe teach them something because they are a few steps behind? But just the level and the status isn't everything that we need to know about School because the key players are actually the community owner and the admins and the moderators. So shout out to both the School admin team and the Knights in Synthesizer. So these are the people that generally take care that the community is the high quality. And they're also the ones that are pinning the posts. So be nice to them. They're doing an incredible job, and School wouldn't be the same without them because otherwise you would just see all of these self-promotion posts and spams and people just doing thought leadership, giving advice that no one really asked for. Knowing who to network is an actual game changer because you now have way more leverage and you know who to talk to. You know whether the status of the people is above or below your own. And we are able to like see where our own level is, what our own emojis is, what our status is. And this allows us to maybe not bother the people who are too far ahead, but focus on the people who are just a few steps ahead so we can directly learn from them. And this is something that also happens in the reverse. So, for example, here we have Sophia, who was reaching out to me and was like, hey, I'd like to learn from you and help you with your own community. So, she currently has the mission to get the game into the discovery ranking. And she's doing a fantastic job on having like 288 activities, which she says we're going to break tomorrow again, which is the current record. And we are at the rank of 72. So as soon as we hit rank 30, then we'll be in the discovery. And I think this is just the key aspect of Skool and why being on Skool is such a competitive advantage. Because there's this learning cycle on like constantly synthesizing the information from people who are above us and then kind of turning that into our own stories and being able to show the ropes to people who are a few steps behind. And this is not something that I'm seeing in any other social platform. And Skool is the only one that really has this. And that's why I think at the end of the day, if you're on Skool, just that fact allows you to win and play the game at the highest level. So I'm looking forward to just see you in the community. Peace.